Josh, John Cena, one of the all-time greats, his career is coming to a close. How are you feeling as we're filming this just a mere day or so before it happens?
To be honest, I feel a little sad just because, you know, this is actually something I've been thinking for a while, just because I know his retirement tour this year, we've criticized it a lot. Creatively, I think rightfully so. I just thought he deserved better. I expected better. And, for the most part, we really didn't get that. We got things that, we saw certain accomplishments. But I just think the overall direction that they went with it, because of what ended up happening, it kind of put a cloud over it. But no matter what, I'm always going to appreciate John. I'm always going to appreciate things that he's done for the business, right? Especially, I made a post earlier, about him, retiring this weekend. And, I made it to a point where, you're talking about decades ago, right? Decades ago, people, like who are a lot older now, back then, Bruno Sammartino was like the big star, right? He was the guy that people would come in to watch. And then during the 80s, it was Hogan. Like Hogan, the way, the rise of Hogan, that changed the business for better or worse. It changed the business. And for guys like me and you, like our age range, like John Cena is like our Hogan. You know what I mean? Like, that's all we know. It's like the fact that he started with WWE, he's been over the company for over 20 years, and everything he's done for the business. And for me, what sticks out is everything he's done outside the business. The way that he's, made, very selfless individual for somebody who's on the top, the way that he is, the way that he gives back, especially like with the fans, the way that when he meets them, and then even the kids for the Make-A-Wish. I mean, he basically set the record for that. The fact that he took his, taking time out of his day to do those things just tells you how selfless he is, not only just as a performer, but just as a person. A lot of things that he didn't have to do, and he did it. And that's always going to stick out for me more. When it comes to, like, I think when it comes to his wrestling, I've always enjoyed it. Obviously, there was a period of time where people were against it. People were just like, let's go, Cena. Cena sucks. I get all that stuff, but I think a lot of that was out of love. I think a lot of us did appreciate Cena for what he's done and what he's contributed. And I think he won a lot of fans over time, because we kind of saw, like, man, this guy, like, good or bad, like, he's never complained. He's never made it about himself when the fans were turning on him. He stood on the same road, and look at us now. We're, we're celebrating the man, and, I couldn't be happier for that. At least we're getting, so there's some guys who don't get to retire on their own terms. He gets to do that. No matter how this year went, I'm just happy that we get to at least see it. We get to at least enjoy what we have left of John Cena. Obviously, it's not goodbye, because obviously he's doing movies. He's an actor, and I think he's really found his range. I think he's been terrific, especially in Peacemaker. So it's not goodbye. We're still going to see John. It's just a matter of not seeing him in WWE TV. That's going to be a little weird, like, to get used to. Whereas, like, wait, 3 years from now, knowing that we're not going to see a Cena match, it feels weird.